Today is March the 10th of 2023, and today we are here with Connie Brown, who's running for AISD Board of Regents.
Board of Trustees.
Or Board of Trustees, I'm sorry. Thanks for coming, Connie.
Thank you for having me.
Let's tell the voters why you're running for the AISD board.
Well, Dan, I didn't really have any intentions of running, and I kind of got involved looking at some of the curriculum, doing some just reading through things and looking at that. I've always, had a heart for families and for students, and I ran a private Christian school for 22 years, and I like to make a difference. That's just, I believe everybody was born to make a difference. And I think that this is a place where really someone can come in and make a true difference. And so the opportunity arose and people began to talk to me about it. I'd never once in my life considered running for office. I've helped a lot of other candidates, but it just, I believe it's what I was supposed to do, and not really what I necessarily wanted to do at this time of my life, but I believe it's what I'm supposed to do.
So you saw some problems, and you said you're a time in your life where you could step up.
Yes.
And make a difference.
Yes. I just believe that if we are going to control some of the directions that our local government and our nation is going, that people are going to have to step up. And I think there's a groundswell of that going on right now. I think we're seeing it all around us. And I'm running around right now with a lot of people that didn't plan on being in politics at this point in their life.
Well, that's great. I mean, it really makes me feel good to see all the people that have stepped forward to run for local political offices this election. I mean, it's generally we don't see that type of participation, and to me, for someone to step out and step up and put their hat in the ring, it takes a lot of courage, and it's a lot of work and a lot of time. So I commend every one of you that have decided to do that for their community.
Well, thank you. And there are a lot.
And there's a lot of good candidates.
Yes, there's a lot of great candidates, and it's encouraging, to know that you're not the only one that is feeling this urge to make a difference.
So what do you think the main issues are, and why people are so concerned about the school board in Amarillo right now?
Well, I think, we have curriculum that people are up in arms about, and rightly so. But I always tend to look at the big picture. And I think the big picture is we didn't get here overnight. This curriculum didn't arrive at our doorstep overnight. We slowly put down our guard. We slowly accepted things that we should not have accepted, and now here we are. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's why everybody's stepping up. I think we realize we didn't get here overnight. We're probably not going to change it overnight, but if we all join hands and do this, and I think there is a tremendous networking, and I'm encouraged by that. And so if each one does their part, I think we can definitely turn things around.
Yeah, the people have to be involved at the local level.
Absolutely.
Everybody focuses, and I don't think it's the people's fault. It's our media's fault. I always say, I said, why do we have to have all these licenses? We have electricians working on this building. They have to be licensed by the state. I have to be licensed, and all the numerous licenses I have, from brokers to water to sewer to insurance to everything else that we have to have licenses for. But you don't have to have a license to be a journalist. And I would think that would be one of the most important things to be licensed for, to make sure that they're adhering to a code of ethics, that they're writing stories accurately. I went to the University of Missouri, which is the largest journalism school in the country, public. And when I went there, they focused on accuracy, accuracy, accuracy. But that's went away. It was the 3 A's of journalism: accuracy, accuracy, accuracy. Now it's advocacy, advocacy, advocacy.
Well, they're really advising the public, and
Exactly.
funny. Now, it wasn't funny at the time, but in the middle of this campaign, which I got into kind of late, and so I'm doing a little catch up. And in the middle of all that, I had to stop and do a code of ethics class for my real estate.
Right.
So I can't sell real estate, but I can advise you on what's good for you, and what is the processes and what really is happening, and all of those things. Without that accuracy, you're correct.
Yeah. But the media and politicians don't need any licensing, and very little, and there's no qualifications,
Right.
except age on politicians.
Either have an opinion or
and
an agenda.
residency. You have to be breathing and have done that for a period of time, and that's your only qualification.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think we need to take a look at that, and maybe, but I guess that's why we have elections, and we're doing things like this to sort out those that people shouldn't vote for.
But one thing that I'm real excited about, it's not just people who are running as candidates that are getting excited, that are getting involved. Mm-hmm. One of my hopes is someone, if I am successful in this run, is that I will somehow be able to influence parents and encourage parents to get to those. I know they go to the PTO meetings and those type of things. Parents, I challenge every parent to go to at least one board meeting at their school district. Mm-hmm. Parents have, if you're not involved, then other people are making decisions for your children.
That's right. No, that's a great point. If people would just show up, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. then I think you'd see a big difference of what happens and transpires. Because evil doesn't like light.
Right.
And it seeps in and we don't realize it.
But light dispels darkness.
It does. Yeah. So if people would just show up, and we're trying to do some things, we send our precinct chairs to different AISD meetings and it's that's helped a lot. And then they report back and let us know what's going on. And the fact that those board members see people there has a huge impact on what they do.
Well, those precinct chairs need to be careful because they may be running for office down the road. That's what got, I started going
I have several of them running for office now.
I started going to board meetings and I was like, I think I can do this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Well, we need good people to run for these positions. I think it's all local. I think it was Tip O'Neill that told Reagan that all politics is local, and he's right. And we ignore that. We just focus on the national because that's what the media reports on. So and I think part of the problem is the media has kind of vanished at the local level. It's just not what it used to be. So people need to take charge of their local communities, or school boards, or city council, their county commission, because this is where the power is.
It is.
And this affects
truly is.
Every single person's life.
And I really did not get that for a lot of years. I was very involved in state and national politics. I have family and friends all around the nation, and so we would talk about those, and it didn't leave me as much time to really look at what was happening locally. Mm-hmm. And as I began to just get involved more at a grassroots level, I realized this is really where the power is. This is where the change is. Mm-hmm. This is where it happens. This is what dictates down the road nationally, state.
Well, and then that's our farm team for the state and national. So as we get people that are competent in local politics, mm-hmm. they do a good job and represent the interests of the voters, not their own, mm-hmm. then they're going to want to push those people up.
Right. Absolutely.
It doesn't come the other way.
But they are listening to us. We do make a difference. Yeah. We do make a difference. We are seeing those differences already.
Oh, yeah. We're getting a lot of things done in the legislature, and it's all because of the of what's coming from the local communities.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a good thing. But then we have a representative republic. But you hear these politicians and the media, it's even on our voting machines, which is what makes me so suspect, is they say we're a democracy, or we're our voting machines, it says marching toward democracy. That tells me they have an agenda. Because if people understood what a democracy was, they would not want it. That's like the worst form of government that could ever exist. That's mob rule. The rights of any minority are eliminated. And yet, basically, it's totalitarianism. It's just another word for totalitarianism. And people don't realize that. And they are convinced that we have a democracy, and we don't. And you don't want that. So we elect people to represent us at the school board, to represent our interest, and they don't represent their interest.
I think it's interesting also. I think there is a misconception as far as the position of school board member, or for that matter, any board member. That one individual carries the weight of one vote. Mm-hmm. in if there's 5, as we've had in our city council, that one carries the 20%. One vote, the 1 to 4. In my situation, it will be 1 to 7. So I think a lot of times we think, well, if we get that person on this board, then they'll take care of this issue I want taken care of, whether it's a private issue or in school, like in school board, I don't like that principal over there at that school. Can you take care of that for me? And the short answer is no, because they work together as a team. But if you look again at the broad strokes, if you look at the fact that individual can sit there and vote, it can be a 1 to 6 vote. It can be an influence. It can slowly change direction. It can bring attention. It can make a difference. But and I think we've seen that recently in our city council. Right. And so that's my goal, is to be an influence, to be a standard. I have no idea, and you don't, what I would be voting on over the next 4 years, or what we would be discussing, or what we would be looking at. But if people want to know who I am, sorry, this West Texas dust, but if people want to know who I am, they need to know that I am going to stand strong with certain convictions. I am a person of strong conviction. I have a strong conviction that parents are the stewards of their own children, that they should have the say-so over their own children. I would encourage every parent to think about that and to take ownership of that if they haven't already. But I think it's kind of intuitive to parents, most parents. Second of all, I think we've got a lot of great teachers. I don't want to lose those great teachers, but we're going to lose them if we don't find a way to empower them to have control in their classrooms. To just apply some common sense on some things. And number 3, I strongly believe that students go to school for an education. We're spending hours of their day with indoctrination. Education is what we go to school for. Parents, children, do what you want to do after hours, but the hours that you're giving us, your children, to a public school where taxpayers are paying money to further the education of those young people, to assure a successful future for them and for society, needs to be spent doing just that, educating children.
Yeah. So what is the rule, or the role, I should say, of the school board?
Well, I think what they tell us is it is to advocate for the district and for the children. And I think anything you do that advocates for children is going to make the district better. So that's the board does not oversee a teacher or a principal, as I mentioned. They hire, or they can dismiss the superintendent. The superintendent is under their charge, and so that superintendent essentially works for that board. And then that board works for the public.
Right. All right. Well, do you have a website?
I do.
Let's tell them.
Gee, I hope I can remember it. It is, the website is Connie4AMA.com. I'm sorry, Connie4AMAISD.com.
Is it the letter 4 or the word 4?
Sorry, thank you, Dan. It's the number 4.
Connie for AMAISD.
AMAISD.
Okay. We'll put it under your videos.
Thank you.
And that's where they can learn more about you, get your contact info.
Absolutely.
Call
and I also
you,
have,
email you.
Yes, and I have a
money.
Facebook, Connie Brown for Amarillo ISD board, and they can look me up on that. And there's a shorter version of that. It's also, the website will take them to that. So.
All right. And then is there anything else you want to tell the voters as to why they should choose you over all the other candidates?
I think, I think they need to be very concerned that someone will be an advocate, a true advocate for children, meaning let's look at what these children are being taught. Let's look at the curriculums being brought in. Let's look at why they're being brought in. Let's look at, teachers and their behavior. And let's look what is best for that student at the end of the day. And, like I said, I spent over 20 years of my life overseeing a private Christian school. I understand many of the issues with families, with children, those type of things, with teachers. And I think I'm a great candidate for that. I think I'm a strong voice. I'm a very strong conservative voice. I'm both a fiscal conservative and a moral conservative. I'm going to land on the conservative side every time, even when it's a decision I don't like. I'm going to look at what is the conservative view. What does the Constitution say? What are our options here within certain guidelines, which I believe are conservative boundaries, and so they can count on that with me. And I will show up and I will work.
So if you want somebody who's lazy, that believes in indoctrination over education, and wants to blow money, you're not their candidate.
I am not their candidate. And if they want to talk me out of that, they don't want to waste their time.
Very good. Well, Connie, I appreciate you coming by, and good luck out there on the campaign trail.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure I'll see you around at various forums and events between now and May 6th.
Well, like I told you, Dan, I am running kind of, I didn't decide to get into this till late. If someone would like a sign, I would love for them to go on my Facebook and just tell me, please bring me a sign. We just got our signs yesterday. Okay. So there'll be bright yellow signs all over Amarillo, and my face is on it, and I'm sorry about that, but I'll do a good job anyway.
Well, I don't think that'll hurt anything. So so everybody knows, any candidates that voted in the 2022 Republican primary, we're opening our office up for them to have their signs and stuff there, so they can also pick up your stuff at our headquarters.
Okay, great.
4217 Southwest 21st.
Yes.
Avenue behind IHOP.
Yes.
So we'll have them there
I appreciate all you guys do. And Karen at the office, if nobody knows Karen, just go by and meet Karen. She's awesome.
Well, very good. Well, we appreciate you coming by.
Thank you. I appreciate it.